Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and I'm back here at BMW Seattle today because we're going to do a walk around on the brand new G90 M5. All the upgrades, all the updates in this incredible latest edition of the M5 from BMW. Let's jump in, let's check it out. All right, BMW is definitely breaking new ground in this 7th generation M5. You know, you would expect the latest technology, all of the upgrades, all of the horsepower and performance that you would expect. But in their 40-year tradition, this is the first hybrid M5. So you get the S68 motor that is so potent and powerful, but it combines with a hybrid system as well. That is going to give you 25 miles of range with no emissions at all. But you can also combine the two systems looking for maximum performance. The S68 in this case has 717 horsepower, so you have no lack of power to get this car up and moving. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the motor and we're going to walk around the rest of the car. All right, so starting here at the front, you can see the new aggressive design and the kidney grills and the very, very aggressive lower valance. So a lot of air coming in through your radiators there for sure. But let's take a look at the heart of this car. So this is the S68 motor. And this is where we're going to get the combination of both power, of the gasoline motor and the electric system as well, the hybrid system. So the S68 motor at peak performance puts out 553 foot-pounds of torque. So that's well short of the posted total of this car, but it really comes down to the combination of the two. When you look at this plug-in hybrid system, the electric system can actually add up to 194 horsepower of maximum system output and up to 207 foot-pounds of maximum torque as well. So it's really when you look at the combined system between the two that you get 717 horsepower and 738 foot-pounds of torque. And so you're going to be able to exceed what the native S68 motor would be able to do. And that is really, really important. One of the things that people talk about in this new M5 quite a bit is the substantial weight increase over the previous generation. There is a substantial weight increase because of the battery system. But when you look at what you gain from it, the ability to go 25 miles total of no emissions whatsoever, purely electric with this plug-in hybrid, and as you see the door here on the side. But you also can combine the two systems in this M5 and you're going to get a combined total more than what the S68 can do on its own, which really is a big difference. So that in itself really adds to the advantage and power of this particular car. All right, so let's take a look at wheels, suspension, and everything else. All right, as we continue to walk around and look at the wheels, suspension, and brakes, there are so many changes to this car, and so much of the changes you're not going to be able to see unless you were underneath or actually looking at the structural integrity. But for example, the lithium-ion system for the hybrid, for the plug-in hybrid, is centered very low in the car to give it the lowest center of gravity possible, and it also helps the suspension by keeping that low. The battery space also doesn't impinge then on the cabin space or trunk space either. But in addition, among all the other changes, this has integral active steering. So the rear wheels are actually going to be able to turn 1.5 degrees up to a maximum of 1.5 degrees, you know, to improve your turning radius as well throughout the car. You can see changes all the way around through the back, LED taillights, but still yet maintaining that quad exhaust that we all love from a BMW M car. So looks really good. Let's continue our walk around. Now looking at the brake options on this car, there is a tremendous number of changes as you would expect as well. The new M5 has a new integrated braking system that actually integrates brake activation, brake booster, and braking control functions into a single module. So what this does is give you a fully integrated system, along with the ability to get the M carbon ceramic brakes, of course, as an option for this car. Now, as you would expect, and as we look at some of the controls on the inside, there is a just absolute plethora of changes you can make to your braking system, your ABS, cornering brake control, and even more as we look at through the different options as you go through the modes in the car. We'll explore those a little bit as we look at some of the interior controls. But the amount of changes in this car is really, really substantial. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in, take a look at the inside. All right, before we take a look at the interior, one thing we want to point out is this actually has the optional carbon fiber roof. Now the car comes standard with what they call the Sky Lounge panorama roof. Fixed glass that runs almost the length of the entire roof and with an integrated sunshade. But this particular car has the carbon fiber package, which includes the carbon fiber roof, the mirror caps, and a rear spoiler as well. But it does make quite a bit of difference in the interior. So this is a great way to be able to see what the carbon fiber option looks like. All right, let's jump in and take a look at the interior. All right, as we step towards the interior, I really do love this choice of the red black. You can see these are the extended leather merino interior. But BMW is now making a debut in this new M5 of the individual full merino metallic leather trim. And that's going to be available later in 2025, and has a really interesting set of colors, including black and dark violet, taupe and taupe gray, and deep lagoon pearl, which is going to be interesting to see. So there's really going to be some really dramatic custom individual interior choices that you can make in this car. All right, let's slide in and let's look at the options. All right, so as we look through the interior, we continue to see the iteration of the iDrive controller here with the additional functionality with the M Hybrid, which would be new for this particular M5. New change, instead of the round start button, you actually have more of an angular start button, and also as the gear shift has gone away to the actual gear selector, everything has really been minimized down. You still have all of the excellent lighting throughout, which I really love in this car. As I always say, if you do see some flickering through the displays, that's simply the resolution of my camera. Don't worry about it. But as you look at how all of this starts to integrate in together, you can see how all of the controls have been migrating out of the doors and up into the trim. All of this lighting and all of this bar will change as we look through it. We'll talk about the iDrive system and the displays here in a second, but you do have the 12.3 information display here and the 14.9 control display as well between the two of them. There is a little bit of a gap, but when you sit, and this is why I always love to show this, the steering wheel actually controls that gap in between. So the division between the two screens really isn't a big deal. What I do find interesting, again, is as the controls have migrated up into the trim strips here, you can see your headlight controls are now up here all the way around through the door. So your door controls remain very similar that you'd be familiar with, but I do love the integration here. And as you can also see with the Bowers & Wilkins audio system in this. Now, it's difficult always to see and almost impossible to see on camera is the heads-up display, which is really quite good. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go on the drive. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the iDrive system next. All right, so when you look at all of the available options, there's just an absolute massive list of the things that you're going to see as standard systems in this car. Of course, lane keeping, speed limit information, blindness, driving assistance, including active blind spot detection. You can set up speed limitations. There's a parking assistant, backup assistant, rear view camera, and of course the 360 camera all the way around. And that's just a few of the features. One of the things I really love, though, on an M car is the M1 and M2 buttons, as you can set your options all the way through. In this case, you can hear the motor fire up, which is great, but you can actually set up all of your different options. So when we go back here to the iDrive and we look at our M2, I want you to take a look at just the absolute amazing list of things that you can set to really customize this car. What I prefer to do is I prefer to have my M1 to be in efficient mode or comfort mode, very soft suspension, soft braking, set up for just casual driving, or if you're out, on the road or stuck in traffic. I set up my M2 mode to be very aggressive, that if I get that opportunity to drive a little bit more aggressively, take my car to the track, I've got a one button push to put in all of my options. So in this case, you can see, for example, drivetrain, you've got options all the way from comfort, sport to sport plus, and you can actually see a little description here to the side of how it's going to adjust each one of these settings. In addition, since this is a hybrid, you have this ability to blend how the hybrid is going to fit into your car. Do we want this dynamic plus that says focusing on maximum drive power for short distances, which means you're going to burn through your batteries quickly, but it's going to be the highest performance you're going to get out of the car. But as you look all the way down, drivetrain, your hybrid, your M hybrid, transmission, how you go through the chassis, steerings, and brakes, and of course your stability control. So all of the options you can get to make this be exactly custom of how you want the car to be set up and how you want to drive it. So just gorgeous. I really do love this interior, and as I always mention, I really do love the phone charger. They've improved that over the years. Before, it really didn't charge your phone effectively. It's higher power now, and you can actually count on it to actually charge your phone. So what a great car. Now let's take it out. Let's see what it's like to actually drive this. All right, y'all, so we're going to take the M5 out for a quick test drive. A couple of things to keep in mind whenever you're going on a drive like this. So first of all, this particular car has 23 miles on it, so it is still well within the break-in period. So I'm always going to drive respectfully, not only for a car that's not been broken in yet, but also just out of just sheer being polite to BMW Seattle and loaning me this car. So, but I wanted to give you a sense of what it's like to actually take this for a drive. Now, we're typical kind of fall Seattle day here. It's a little bit rainy. The weather's not all that great, but it'll be a good way to kind of see the difference in power and traction and everything in driving a car like this through Seattle. Plus, give you a little bit of the sights and sounds of Seattle while we're at it too. So the goal is to try a little bit of city driving, get a sense of how it feels over the bumps and turns. But then we're also going to get up on the freeway and the famous floating bridge here in Seattle. So if you're not familiar with the area, you can see a little bit of that as well. And then my favorite on-ramp to get back onto the freeway that we can always get on it just a little bit to get a sense of the acceleration. Now, new tires, car that hasn't been broken in yet, and a little bit of a rainy day. It's going to limit the driving just a little bit, but still would be a sense of what it would be like if you came down here to the dealership to drive it yourself. All right, so let's get started. And we'll check out more of the drive. All right, so coming across the lake here, you can actually see a little bit of snow off in the hills. That was the floating bridge here in Seattle. So you come across Lake Washington. I really love this bridge as a great way of testing kind of suspension. We're in the M5 equivalent of efficient mode right now. So the suspension is as soft as it's going to be. And as we go across these deck joints, I really like it as a test of any given test drive of a car, because you go over these bumps, how does it feel? Does it absorb it and they disappear? Does it kind of roll with the bumps, that sort of thing? I think it's a great way of just feeling how the car is going to be for a daily driver, right? Stuck in traffic, daily driving, whatever you need to do. How comfortable is it going to be? Now, I really do like these seats. I mentioned that earlier as we were looking at them. The seats are really comfortable. And I would adjust the bolsters down a little bit to hang on to me a little bit more, because, you know, I like that sport seat feeling, but really, really comfortable so far. And this may be a trivial thing, but not from a safety point, but I actually really like the rear view mirror, and the side mirrors are excellent. So I got them adjusted, and I feel like my visibility is really, really good. The B-pillar here over my shoulder is decent sized, and so when I look over my left shoulder, I have a lot of B-pillar in my direct line of sight. So it's really good to have your mirrors adjusted properly, and these are really large mirrors, so your visibility is set really, really good when you combine it with the rest of the safety systems, your blind spot detection and the like. But it's good to get that set right, and I think BMW recognized that when they really, I believe that they increased the size of the mirrors on this car, and it shows it, but they're good and your visibility is excellent. So one of the things that people want to criticize in this new M5, of course, is the weight. And if you've read anything about this car, the weight of it is quite controversial and a big jump over the previous. Now, the entire reason for that is the hybrid system. When you add the lithium batteries and the rest of the requisite systems that go with it, along with some electric motors, you're gonna add weight. But I think the weight concern, beyond just looking at a number, I think can be kind of trivialized by how quick and responsive a car can be. Not to say that people's concerns aren't valid, and if you were going to be a track rat with a new M5, you would worry about weight, but I don't think anybody's going to do that. That said, more people should take their M5s to the track. These are great performing cars, especially this has track mode, but keep that in mind. But the one thing I will say just here, maneuvering through traffic, it's very quick, it's very responsive. There's no hesitation in the pedal whatsoever in what is essentially efficient mode. It's very, very quick to be able to merge in and out, make small speed adjustments. There is no sense of weight, which is why I wanted to bring it up. It is very, very quick. Now, in addition to that, if you look at some of the recent reviews now that the M5 is out, and specifically a couple of the performance shops that have gotten their hands on the new M5 and have taken it and put it on the dyno numbers for this car are substantially higher than what's posted, which is really kind of amazing. When you look at 717 horsepower, you're seeing dyno numbers that are over 800. So this is not a slow car by any stretch of the imagination. All right, so this is my favorite on-ramp to get back onto I-90 when I'm doing a test drive. It's a good sweeping on-ramp that gets us on. With the weather today, we're not gonna really be able to get on it too much, but let's go ahead and put it into M2 mode where you saw me earlier adjust all the different performance settings, and let's get after it a little bit. Yeah, very smooth. I mean, butter smooth shifting, really good acceleration. And that was, if that was 30% accelerator, I would be shocked. I am limiting with the weather today. This is the first rain in a couple of days, so everything's a little bit slimy. And again, being respectful of a car that's within its break-in period, but sounded great. Transmission was impressive. I mean, you could hear the shifts, but you can't even feel them. So as BMW moves away from manual transmissions, which I love. I mean, my M2 is a 6-speed manual. Their automatic transmissions just get better and better and better. And if you even look at the head of BMW's M division, he's basically at the point now of what's the point of owning a manual transmission? There are some features that come with it, like launch control and the like, when you have an automatic that the manual does not. And for a little bit of weight gain on the automatic, you're getting a lot of function. So while I always will love my manual transmissions, he may have a point. I mean, that was absolutely beautiful going through all of that. So really, really impressive. Back across the lake here. You know, not the best day for traffic or weather, I'm afraid, but you know, you take the test drive when you can take it, and this is when the M5 released. It'd be nice if it was a beautiful sunny day and we can get some open roads, but this has been a really, really solid test drive. As I always say, the most important thing is to come down and try it yourself. Come down and do a test drive, see what the car feels like. But you know, this is my first time behind the wheel, and I already feel comfortable and confident here. Controls are crisp. When they talk about the new steering system in this car, and if you read in the fine details, they've upgraded and updated how the steering in this car that is also very adjustable through your M settings and the rest. Feels really, really good. And again, this is coming out of my G87 M2, which is so substantially smaller and lighter, yet I already feel really comfortable in this car. Lane keeping is easy. Rides really, really well. I'm currently still sitting in an M2 mode, which I adjusted to be pretty much sport everything, and quick, fast, responsive. This is a great car. So come down and check it out. The styling design changes, I think, are controversial along with the weight. But if you think about the controversy when the G80s, so the M3s and the M4s came out, there was a lot of talk about how polarizing the design changes were and some of the technology changes in the car. But as we can see now, as years have gone on in that model, incredible car, fast, quick, great performance. The styling has definitely, I think, has grown on almost everybody. And when you look at this new M5 being the latest iteration of BMW's technology, I don't blame them. They're going to want to continue to iterate and improve the design, and this is a very healthy iteration step forward for the latest model of M5. Last stretch back to the dealership. Not the best day for weather or traffic for a test drive, but it's always a great day when you can take out a new M5. I'm impressed with this. I would love to have more time in this car, and I'm actually going to encourage you to come out and test drive this car. But if you own one, learn how to drive it. And this may sound crazy, but take it to the track. Hook up with a local group, talk to your local BMW club, get some track time, because I think that's gonna really teach you the capabilities of this car. And I think in almost every case where you look at a BMW M car, it's a sports car, whether it has 2 doors or 4 doors. You're driving a sports car, and in most occasions, for almost all of us, myself included, it's a lot more car. There's more car than there is driver. So I think taking a car like this out, and the M5s are some of the rarest you see people take out to the track. This is truly a 4-door sports car and would teach you a lot about your skills, your car, and your driving if you actually got it out to the track. So get a chance, do it. Absolutely do it. You're gonna really, really learn when you do. But all in all, really a great car, really a fun drive here. And let's go ahead and take it back. I'm afraid all too soon. All right, so back here at the dealership, these are always over too quickly. I would love to have this for, a couple of days, a week or more, to be able to get a sense of what this car is really like. But it did give me some initial impressions. And overall, I'm very positive about this new M5. For me personally, I don't really care about the weight. I know some that might really matter, but I think once you drive it, you're not gonna notice it and it's not going to matter. The new kidney grills are an interesting design. I'm not sure if they work for me, but at the same time, because I am such a BMW traditionalist, I love the vertical slat kidney grills. But at the same time, they tie into the rest of the design, and it may not be something you even notice. Just for me, I've been around the BMWs for so long that I miss that vertical slat design. But if that's not something that's prior to you, you're not even gonna notice, so it's really not something worth worrying about. This is a great car. I love the design touches. I love the lighting. I love the feel. And even on a rough day like this, you have the confidence of the all-wheel drive system in this, which is really, really nice. So I highly recommend you come down and drive it, come and try it out, come walk around, get a sense of what this car is like rather than just from production pictures or even a video. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to BMW Seattle for giving me this opportunity to get hands-on with the brand new M5. I know that there's a lot of folks that are waiting to get their hands on it too. So I'm really grateful for them to give me this opportunity. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a genuine difference to my channel. It really does, and I would really appreciate it if you did so. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.